starting with 1 million luck points. Chapter 16. At this moment, the tall burly man and the other martial artists were dumbfounded. After all, that was an intermediate level demon warrior. To defeat one, even intermediate level martial artists had to go all out. High level martial artists also had to spend some effort to kill it. But what about Zhou Hao? He killed it as if he was killing a chicken. Only a master level expert can do that. He's definitely a master expert. The martial artists of the temporary team and the bodyguards shouted excitedly. Zhou Hao walked over and saw that the tall burly martial artist was covered in blood. He could not help but ask, "Are you guys all right?" I am fine." The tall burly man hurriedly waved his hand and said gratefully, "Thank you, Master, for your help." "Master?" Zhou Hao was stunned. The experts above the martial artists were masters. Each of them was an important figure in the city. In the past, Zhou Hao didn't even dare to think about becoming a master. Now, he actually managed to reach such a level. In a way, it made sense. For Zhou Hao to be able to easily kill those intermediate level demon warriors, he would have needed a master's combat strength. However, Zhou Hao knew very well that he had relied entirely on his deep foundation. His true strength had yet to reach the level of master. "Miss Su, quick, get up. Let's thank the master for his help. Young Master Hui, hurry up and get up. If not for the master, we would all be done for. Young Master Jin is lucky to have the protection of a master. You must make the best out of this opportunity." The bodyguards regained their senses and hurriedly pulled up Su Ling and the other students who were lying on the ground. They whispered anxiously into their ears. Su Ling and the other students were dumbfounded. A master? They were actually protected by a master. Young Master Jin was especially frightened, especially since he had earlier said that Zhou Hao was being too nervous. He was so frightened that his entire body trembled, and he wanted to cry but had no tears to shed. "What are you all waiting for? Quick, thank him," the bodyguards urged. Su Ling and the other students finally reacted and stepped forward one by one. "Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master." Zhou Hao looked at Su Ling and the other genius students and sighed with emotion. A while ago, he was still just an ordinary poor student who had not even reached the first level of blood essence. If he had stood in front of these genius students without his newfound strength, they probably wouldn't even look at him. But now, they were thanking him respectfully. Strength. This is the change brought about by strength. Zhou Hao yearned to become even stronger after this. Boom. Just as Zhou Hao was about to say that there was no need to be polite, a violent sonic boom sounded not far away. In a few seconds, a figure appeared in front of everyone. When the tall burly man saw this figure, he immediately addressed him, "Battalion Commander Chu." The other martial artists also shouted, "Battalion Commander Chu." Battalion Commander Chu swept his sharp gaze over everyone. Seeing that the students were fine, he heaved a sigh of relief. "Fortunately, we made it." Battalion Commander Chu. Su Ling and the other students were all from rich families. Naturally, they knew that Battalion Commander Chu was a master-level expert who was in charge of guarding the defensive line at the city's southern station. However, with their statuses, they usually did not have the chance to see such a figure. Even their elders and parents rarely saw someone like Battalion Commander Chu. 2 lines on the horns. Intermediate level. After Battalion Commander Chu relaxed, he finally noticed the giant wolf corpses on the ground. Not bad. Since you're able to kill intermediate level demon warriors, I can tell that you guys are pretty strong. You didn't slack off just because you became some rich family's bodyguard. He couldn't help but praise the personal bodyguards. The bodyguards were ashamed. Out of all the corpses, they were only responsible for 2 that were currently in front of them. The 8 bodyguards had worked together with the tall burly man and the other martial artists from the temporary team to kill them. 2 intermediate-level demon warriors probably weren't enough to warrant a distress signal, right? Battalion Commander Chu frowned again. The tall burly man coughed lightly and pointed at the weed pile not far away. Battalion Commander Chu, there's more over there. Battalion Commander Chu turned to look in the direction the finger pointed at. He was shocked the moment he saw the corpses. Good lord! There were at least 40 giant wolf corpses. Who killed them? Did a master-level expert pass by? Battalion Commander Chu asked. The tall burly man hurriedly said, yes, it was this master here who helped us. Battalion Commander Chu could not help but look at Zhou Hao. You, a master? Suspicion surged in his eyes. He was suspicious because Zhou Hao's blood essence did not have a powerful aura, and Zhou Hao's eyes also seemed ordinary. He was completely different from the other masters. What he didn't know was that Zhou Hao's 108 meridians had all been opened, and his blood essence was circulating continuously and smoothly. It was impossible to tell just by looking at Zhou Hao's appearance. Roar! Suddenly, within 1,000 meters, a terrifying aura soared into the sky with a shocking wolf howl. The ground shook incessantly as demon flames surged into the sky. A terrifying pressure swept over from all directions like a surging flood. In the dark sky, 2 blood-colored lights pierced through. Su Ling and the other students were instantly enveloped by the lights. Only then did the tall burly man and the other martial artists see that the lights were actually coming from 2 terrifying eyes. And above these eyes was an extremely striking blue horn. The 3 lines on the horn were even more obvious. Not good. It's the blue horn blood wolf. A high-level demon general. Not only did the expressions of the temporary team's martial artists change drastically, even the bodyguards' faces turned pale. Battalion Commander Chu's eyes were also filled with anxiety. Chapter 17. How could this be? How could this be? How could there be a high-level demon general within 10,000 meters of the city? What are those guys from the intelligence department doing? Battalion Commander Chu cursed repeatedly. High-level demon generals were extremely powerful and could easily destroy a small city. Their destructive power was not inferior to a small nuclear bomb. In front of such a beast, even a master-level expert had to flee frantically. Only a Grandmaster would be able to remain calm when facing such a demon beast. Battalion Commander Chu wanted to escape, but he knew that he couldn't. If he escaped, then the students and the temporary team that were left behind would definitely die without intact corpses. Quick, take the students and leave. I'll lure the blue horn blood wolf away. Battalion Commander Chu shouted frantically. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, the blue horn blood wolf's claw slapped over at lightning speed. Battalion Commander Chu was sent flying hundreds of meters away before he could even react. Fortunately, he was wearing general-level armor that weakened the attack. He was only severely injured and had fallen unconscious. The tall burly man and the others were instantly dumbfounded. They had never expected that Battalion Commander Chu, a master-level expert, would be knocked unconscious by the blue horn blood wolf in a single move. Is this the terrifying strength of a high-level demon general? The martial artists, bodyguards, Su Ling, and the other students were in despair. Even a master-level expert was no match for her. At this moment, no one could save them. They could only wait for death. I don't want to die. I haven't become a martial artist yet. Several students broke down and cried. Su Ling also cried. She didn't want to die either. The blue horn blood wolf's blood-red eyes gazed mockingly as it approached step by step. No one could remain calm in the face of death. Just as they thought they were going to die in the wilderness, a figure moved. It was Zhou Hao. The blood essence in his entire body was like an abyss. Waves of extremely terrifying blood essence pressure spread out thousands of meters around him like mountains. All of a sudden, the flourishing weeds started dancing crazily. Even the towering ancient trees that were almost 100 meters tall shook violently. Zhou Hao's 108 meridians circulated automatically, and his blood essence surged. He took a step forward and clenched his fist. And then, boom! The air exploded with a deafening bang. The terrifying force was like a comet colliding. It instantly spread across the blue-horned blood wolf's body that was hundreds of meters tall. Roar! The blue-horned blood wolf's fur and bones, which could even withstand a missile bombardment, shattered like an eggshell under this punch. The roar of pain tore through the sky, but it quickly stopped. Its huge body that was hundreds of meters tall smashed heavily onto the ground, raising a large amount of dust. Zhou Hao retracted his fist and looked at the 100-meter tall body in front of him in a daze. Dead. Just like that. The high-level demon general-level blue-horned blood wolf was so weak that it even surprised Zhou Hao. He had only used less than 20% of his strength in that punch just now. He originally thought that it would take more effort to finish the blue-horned blood wolf, but he never expected to be able to do it with a single punch. Looks like the increase in blood essence brought by the 108th levels of the Dragon Elephant Wisdom technique is even greater than I imagined. Zhou Hao pondered. A high-level demon general's combat strength could match a Grandmaster. For him to kill the blue-horned blood wolf with a single punch, his combat strength should have reached the level of a high-level Grandmaster. Maybe even a peak-level Grandmaster. At that moment, Zhou Hao had a clearer understanding of his strength. He was rather excited. One had to know that in a large city like the Huadong city, high-level Grandmasters had the highest combat strength. In other words, with his current combat strength, Zhou Hao could already oversee a large city. However, Zhou Hao knew that he had yet to even refine and master his strength. His entire body was at the blood essence level, so he was still in the same realm as a martial artist. The reason why his combat strength was so strong was completely due to the enhancement effect brought about by the 100th level of the Dragon Elephant Wisdom technique. After finding the Scarlet Bloodvine and the Rhino Horn, I also have to quickly obtain a higher level cultivation technique. Since his blood essence had improved so much, Zhou Hao was very excited about how much his combat strength would increase once he reached Grandmaster level. Zhou Hao habitually glanced at the virtual screen. His luck points had increased to 29,722, current level, overwhelming luck. After killing a high-level demon general, his luck points had increased by 10,000 points. Zhou Hao was immediately overjoyed. As expected, killing high-level demon beasts would greatly increase his luck points. My luck points have almost reached 30,000 and yet it still says overwhelming luck. I wonder when I will be able to get to the next level. Although he had only opened the mystery box once, Zhou Hao vaguely guessed that the more luck points one accumulated, the higher the level, and the higher the chances of opening a rare level item. Since I've already come to the wilderness area, I will be able to accumulate more luck points. Zhou Hao pondered secretly. It seemed that killing high-level demon beasts and other high-level foreign race beings was the fastest way to accumulate luck points. In the city, he could only kill some green insects, so his luck points accumulation speed was very slow. You're a Grandmaster level expert. At this moment, a trembling voice interrupted Zhou Hao's thoughts. Chapter 18. Zhou Hao turned around and saw the tall burly man, the temporary team members, the bodyguards, and Su Ling and the other 6 students. They were all standing respectfully at the side, their eyes filled with burning worship. If only a Grandmaster is capable of killing a blue-horned blood wolf, then I suppose you can consider me as a Grandmaster level expert. Zhou Hao said indifferently. The tall burly man, Su Ling, and the others were excited as they hurriedly said, "Thank you, Grandmaster, for saving our lives." The group bent over at a 180-degree angle. Their gratitude and admiration for Zhou Hao had reached a peak. After all, when they were in despair and on the verge of collapse, it was Zhou Hao who had killed the blue-horned blood wolf and saved them. Cough cough, quick, run. Suddenly, a weak cough sounded from afar. Everyone looked over and saw the unconscious battalion commander Chu gradually waking up. He struggled to stand up and shouted towards Zhou Hao and the others. Quickly help battalion commander Chu up, said Zhou Hao immediately. As the battalion commander of the base's defense line, Battalion Commander Chu had contributed greatly to the well-being of the city. Zhou Hao had a lot of respect for him. The tall burly man and the other martial artists hurriedly rushed over. No need, don't worry about me, cough cough, what are you all waiting for? Run. Battalion Commander Chu revealed an anxious expression. His armor's defense had been weakened. However, since the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf had not used much strength in its attack, Battalion Commander Chu's injuries were not serious. Battalion Commander Chu, the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf is dead, the tall burly man said. Why are you still joking with me at a time like this? Nonsense. Battalion Commander Chu was anxious. The tall burly man was speechless. He pointed at the corpse of the giant wolf that was more than 100 meters in size. Battalion Commander Chu, I'm really not joking. Battalion Commander Chu followed his finger and turned his head. With one look, his mind went blank. After a long while, Battalion Commander Chu finally reacted. He hurriedly dodged over and carefully approached the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf. He probed it in various ways to confirm that the high-level demon general-level Blue-Horn Blood Wolf was really dead. Ha ha ha. The path of the heavens does not end. Battalion Commander Chu laughed and looked at the tall burly man. Which Grandmaster came to help? To be able to kill the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf, one has to at least have the strength of an intermediate-level Grandmaster. As he spoke, he continued to guess. In the entire Huadong city, probably only President He has the strength and also the time to arrive on time and resolve the matter. After all, he's an intermediate-level Grandmaster who's in charge of a martial artist union branch. As soon as he finished speaking, a rumbling sound suddenly sounded from the horizon, and a figure in yellow armor rushed over crazily with a large amount of air waves. The figure quickly landed not far from Zhou Hao and the others. Waves of air surged, blowing against Su Ling, the tall burly man, and the others as they hurriedly stabilized themselves. Battalion Commander Chu, you're still alive? That's great, where's the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf? The person was first delighted when he saw Battalion Commander Chu and the others before he shouted anxiously. Battalion Commander Chu was stunned when he saw who it was. President He, why is it you? What? Other than me, who else could it be? He Biao glared at Battalion Commander Chu angrily. Among the 7 publicly known Grandmaster-level experts in the entire Huadong city, 6 of them have their own roles. As for Commander Zhao, he has to oversee the entire city and can't move around easily. Therefore, the only one who is able to rush over to help is me. I rushed over as soon as I received the distress signal from the south station. Damn. Halfway through his sentence, He Biao cursed. His eyes widened as he stared fixedly at the huge wolf corpse not far away. When he arrived, he was so anxious that he did not notice the huge corpse lying on the ground. Seeing that Battalion Commander Chu and the others were fine, only now did he finally size up his surroundings. That was when he saw the huge wolf corpse lying there. Chu. Battalion Commander Chu, did you kill the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf? He Biao looked at Battalion Commander Chu in disbelief. Battalion Commander Chu was also dumbfounded. He had originally thought that President He had rushed over and killed the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf, saving everyone. That was why he was so surprised when he saw President He arrive at the scene. President He, Battalion Commander Chu, actually, it was this Grandmaster-level expert who had killed the Blue-Horn Blood Wolf. Just as He Biao and Battalion Commander Chu were feeling dumbfounded, a weak voice sounded. Swoosh. 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 He Biao and Battalion Commander Chu's gazes first gathered on the talking Su Ling, then swept over and finally focused on Zhou Hao. Chapter 19. You, a Grandmaster. He Biao's eyes revealed the same suspicion as Battalion Commander Chu's. Because Zhou Hao was wearing standard armor and simply looked too unremarkable. After all, any Grandmaster or Master would have at least general level armor. Even if they wanted to keep a low profile, they would not deliberately wear standard armor. This was because armor was pretty much a second life for human experts. No one would be careless in this aspect. Zhou Hao shrugged. He ignored He Biao and Battalion Commander Chu's suspicions and took a step forward, directly arriving beside the blue-horn blood wolf's corpse. Reaching out, he grabbed the horn and exerted some strength in his arm. The 100-meter-tall giant wolf corpse turned over like a toy in his hand. "Can I borrow a saber?" He looked at the tall burly man. The tall burly man's mouth fell open, unable to react for a moment. It had to be known that Zhou Hao was dealing with the corpse of a high-level demon general that weighed dozens of tons. It would only barely move when pulled by 10 helicopters flying at full speed. He Biao's pupils constricted. He could tell that Zhou Hao had not used much strength to do what he did just now. And for Zhou Hao to be able to flip the blue-horn blood wolf's corpse so easily, he was undoubtedly a Grandmaster. Anyone below the level of Grandmaster would have been unable to do it. "Here, use mine." After having confirmed that Zhou Hao was indeed the Grandmaster who had killed the blue-horn blood wolf, he immediately threw his saber over. This saber of his was completely made of precious metals and king-level demon beast materials. Its weight alone was several hundred kilograms. Zhou Hao grabbed the saber casually. Holding He Biao's saber, he replied, "Thank you." Then, he suddenly slashed at the head of the giant wolf corpse, cutting off the blue horn with the special lines. Upon seeing this scene, Battalion Commander Chu recovered from his shock. He quickly stepped forward and said guiltily, "Sir, thank you for saving my life. I shouldn't have doubted your strength earlier." Zhou Hao waved his hand. "It's fine." He then added, "Battalion Commander Chu, the fur, bones, and blood of this blue-horn blood wolf are all top-notch materials. I can't take everything away either. How about this?" Before he could finish speaking, He Biao hurriedly shouted, "Friend, our martial artist union is willing to buy the materials of this wolf corpse for 7 million yuan. 7 million. After hearing the price, Su Ling and the other 8 genius students were shocked. Even with their family background, 7 million was still a huge sum of money. Zhou Hao was also stunned. They had offered 7 million. It was enough for Zhou Hao to buy 7 villas in Yangyuan residence. Battalion Commander Chu reacted at that moment and immediately shouted, "President He, that's a little inconsiderate of you. The Grandmaster has already said that he wants to hand the materials to our southern station defense camp." He Biao curled his lips nonchalantly. "Battalion Commander Chu, cut the crap. Name your price directly." 6.5 million and the position of Major General. Battalion Commander Chu shouted. "Battalion Commander Chu, you look like a rough guy on the surface, so I didn't realize you were actually so sly. What? You even want to recruit him to your military?" As he spoke, He Biao walked up to Zhou Hao enthusiastically. "Brother, come to my Huadong Martial Artist Union branch. We will provide you with everything. Cultivation techniques, weapons, pills, anything you want. Sir, you should come to the military. Apart from cultivation techniques, weapons, and pills, we can also provide additional military rank privileges," Battalion Commander Chu shouted impatiently. The tall burly man, the members of the temporary team, the bodyguards, Su Ling, and the 7 other students were all dumbfounded. They were just competing to buy the materials for the blood wolf corpse a moment ago. And now, all of a sudden, Battalion Commander Chu and President He were now competing to rope in this Grandmaster. Zhou Hao was also a little dumbfounded. In fact, After confirming that Zhou Hao was a Grandmaster, President He and Battalion Commander Chu quickly understood that Zhou Hao was definitely a newly advanced Grandmaster. Otherwise, Zhou Hao wouldn't have no armor or weapons on him. However, the rest of them had yet to figure this out. It was precisely because of this that they had first used the material as the catalyst and then quickly began to try to rope him in. The reason why they were in such a hurry was because they were worried that once the news spread, the various forces in the Huadong city would rush over and compete for him. After all, this was a newly advanced Grandmaster. Such an existence was incomparably significant. If they could rope him in, the already established forces would immediately rise in power and gain more authority. President He, why do you have to compete with our military? Your martial arts union is already very powerful and you have no lack of Grandmasters. Battalion Commander Chu glared. Although he himself was a master, he still had the support of the military and was not afraid to stand up against a Grandmaster at all. In usual circumstances, he could give President He more face. But now that a Grandmaster was involved, he couldn't care less. He Biao said impolitely, Battalion Commander Chu, who would complain about having too many Grandmasters? On the other hand, I think it's best for your military to conserve your manpower. Seeing that President He and Battalion Commander Chu were on the verge of fighting, Zhou Hao did not know whether to laugh or to cry. He hurriedly said, President He, Battalion Commander Chu, the two of you should stop for a moment. Only then did President He and Battalion Commander Chu stop. They both looked at Zhou Hao. Chapter 20. Gentlemen, let's discuss the ownership of this blood wolf corpse. Material first. As for joining a faction, I don't have any plans on that yet, Zhou Hao said slowly. Once Zhou Hao joined a faction, his identity would definitely be leaked. By then, the spies from the foreign races will also learn of his identity. This had happened too many times in the past 100 years on planet Earth. Therefore, Zhou Hao was very cautious. Hearing Zhou Hao say this, He Biao and Battalion Commander Chu couldn't help but reveal disappointed expressions. However, they didn't insist. After all, Zhou Hao was a Grandmaster, and many experts on planet Earth were unwilling to be restricted and preferred to be alone after becoming Grandmasters. In the end, the Blue Horn Blood Wolf was still bought by He Biao for 7 million. In fact, Zhou Hao knew that President He was doing him a favor. The most valuable thing about the blue-horned blood wolf was its blue horn. If he cut it off and only sold other materials in the Merchant Alliance, he would at most get around 4 million. Taking out his crystal card, he bumped it with He Biao's crystal card and received the 7 million. While Zhou Hao was feeling excited, he looked at He Biao and returned the saber to him as he said, Thank you, President He. He Biao smiled. You're welcome. Come to my martial artist union building when you have the time and give me a chance to be a good host. Definitely. Zhou Hao was in a good mood as he replied. Then, he asked, President He, Battalion Commander Chu, I want to find the Scarlet Bloodvine and the Rhino Horn. Do you know which area has them? Battalion Commander Chu hurriedly said, Area 178. This is the active location of the single-horned rhino. As for the Scarlet Bloodvine, it's a little troublesome. You'll have to go to Area 192. It grows in a red swamp and you will have to search carefully to find it. Zhou Hao immediately opened the screen located on the arm of the standard armor. He keyed in Area 178 and Area 192. Swoosh. The radar screen immediately displayed the route of these two regions. Zhou Hao took a look and saw that it was not too far away. Thank you, Battalion Commander Chu. The mission is also over, so I'll be leaving first since I still have something to do. President He, I'll visit you in the Martial Artist Union building when I have the time. With that, Zhou Hao placed the shrunken blue horn into the portable backpack of his standard armor. Then, he took a step and his figure suddenly disappeared. The reason why he had accepted the guarding mission this time was primarily to familiarize himself with the wilderness area and secondly, to figure out his strength. Now that he knew that his combat strength had reached the level of a Grandmaster, there was no point in continuing the mission. Therefore, Zhou Hao left decisively. This Grandmaster is really swift and decisive. Battalion Commander Chu sighed. Then, he looked at the tall burly man and the other master artists and students and asked curiously, "Did you all see this Grandmaster kill the blue-horned blood wolf with your own eyes?" The tall burly man and the others nodded. Su Ling said in admiration, "That's right. I saw it with my own eyes. A Grandmaster is really too powerful. He killed a high-level demon general with a single punch." Battalion Commander Chu smiled and said, "A Grandmaster is naturally powerful." "Wait, what did you say just now?" President He was also stunned for a moment as he stared intently at Su Ling. A single punch. Suddenly, Su Ling was being stared at by a Grandmaster and a Master. This made her extremely nervous. However, she still gritted her teeth and said, "That Grandmaster level expert really only used one punch." Battalion Commander Chu and President He widened their eyes before asking the burly man and the others. After confirming that Zhou Hao had only used a single punch. A high-level Grandmaster, he's definitely a high-level Grandmaster. President He took a deep breath and looked extremely regretful. "If I had known, I would have tried harder to recruit him just now." Battalion Commander Chu no longer hesitated and directly sent a message to Commander Zhao. An expert of such a level was worth roping in at all costs. At the same time, the students and bodyguards also secretly sent messages to their families. A high-level Grandmaster. This was an existence comparable to Commander Zhao, who was in charge of a large city. In just a few minutes. Swoosh. 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 Energy waves surged as sonic booms echoed. The public and secret Grandmasters in the Huadong city were all gathered together. Just the aura they emitted was incomparably powerful. All the mutated beasts, demon beasts, insects, and other foreign races within a radius of 10,000 meters were so frightened by their collective aura that they did not dare to move. Fortunately, Su Ling and the other students were already escorted away by the bodyguards. The tall burly man and the others also did not dare to stay any longer. Otherwise, even breathing would be difficult if they stayed here. Boom! An explosion sounded. A 2-meter-tall middle-aged man in black armor landed from the sky. "Commander Zhao. Old Zhao, even you're here. I knew you couldn't sit still either." The Grandmasters greeted each other. Commander Zhao was a high-level Grandmaster and a war prodigy who ruled over Huadong City. "It seems everyone is here." Commander Zhao, who had a calm aura and sharp eyes, swept a glance and smiled. "Then I suppose we'll all have to rely on our capabilities now." With that said, he looked at Battalion Commander Chu. "Little Chu, where's that person?" Facing so many masters, even the usually carefree Battalion Commander Chu was as cautious as a child at this moment. He stammered, "Commander, that Grandmaster has left." "What? He left? Where did he go? Why didn't he stay? Are you sure he was a Grandmaster?" Before Commander Zhao could speak, the other Grandmasters had already interrupted impatiently.